Swift Water Safety. Check it out. You always bring us to the most beautiful places, so thank you so much for bringing us out here today.
You bet. Welcome to Gateway Trailhead and Clear Creek Canyon Park, one of the best places to be in the summer.
I completely agree, and I think the kids behind me would also agree. My goodness, hooting and hollering out there. But today we're talking about exactly what's happening behind us here, the swift water. We had a lot of rain this year. Let's talk about what we need to worry about. So first, tell me exactly what that means, the rain, and how it translates into what is happening here in the river.
Sure. So this is a natural creek, so anytime we have precipitation, we're going to have fluctuations in creek level. But one of the things we want everyone to realize is no matter how much water is in this creek, you do need to take it seriously.
Yes.
And you need to come prepared with safety gear, and you need to know what to do in the case that you fall out of your tube or you end up in the creek and you didn't expect to be in the creek.
So I want to talk about all of those things. I know that when we initially came into the park even, you guys had some rangers up there warning people about, you know, the levels and probably educating, right?
Yes, we want people to understand this is a great place to get out of the heat and have a blast. We want to make sure you're prepared safety-wise. So we want to see our tubers with a helmet, a personal flotation device, and foot protection. I'm going to do more than walk you through. I'm going to dress you up.
Dress me up. Let's go.
So first, you got to protect your noggin.
Okay.
So we have a helmet for you.
Love
and
it.
again, that's because if you end up not in your tube, you could be smashing your noggin on a rock or two. So
Yeah.
we want you to have a helmet.
Okay.
And that's safety gear we highly recommend.
Love it.
Another thing we really want to see people wearing, and this is one of our rescue ones, so this is probably higher end than you need.
Okay.
But we want you in a personal flotation device, or
All
PFD.
right, let's do it.
So go ahead and put that on.
Okay.
And again, this one has a lot of extra straps because it is a professional rescue one.
Yes.
But you want to make sure anytime you're wearing a PFD that it fits you snug, okay? You don't want something loose, so I think we're pretty good here. And again, if we were doing it, we'd do all these extra straps. But
Yeah.
for people that are just tubing, there's ones that don't have as many straps and
Okay.
stuff. We've also, for ours, we've got a knife in case we need to cut somebody loose from some string or something they're stuck in.
Sure.
We've got a whistle. Whistles are great if you want to get someone's attention if you're in trouble.
Definitely.
The other thing we recommend is something to protect your feet.
Okay.
And we always wear leather gloves because we might be using ropes.
Fair
and
enough.
if we're rescuing you, we'll use this thing called a throw bag. And this is what we do from shore. And if you're in trouble, we'll throw this out to you and we can pull you back to shore.
Smart.
If you can grab it and you're good at grabbing stuff. So that's how we would help you if you were in the creek. So you look like you're good to go.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm gonna hop in. Thanks, Marianne. And you're absolutely serious when you say that this river is no joke. This is something that you guys train for,
Yes,
correct? Tell me about that.
Yes, so every single Jefferson County Open Space Ranger is trained in swiftwater rescue. And that means we've put the gear on and we've pretended to be the patient who is having a problem in this river. And we've practiced rescuing each other. And many of us have had really pretty significant experiences with this river and understanding how powerful it is.
Yes. I mean, when we first walked in here too, you guys up top had a board that showed us exactly how fast this river is going. Can you tell me how that works?
Yes, so we check every morning before we set up our information station, and we look at how many cubic feet per second are flowing in the river. Today it's 410. And for perspective, the high for this river was 2,500.
Wow.
Which of course would be completely unsafe for tubing. And there really is no safe number for tubing. We just like to have people be informed, and sometimes we will close the entire creek to tubing just because it is running too fast.
Sure. Well, Marianne, I know that a lot of people at home think tubing, and the first thing that comes to mind is, okay, I'm in my swimsuit, I'm in my little tube, I maybe have something I shouldn't have out on the river, right? Being inebriated, I'm sure, is not something we want to be.
So one of the things you want to make sure you have on board while you're tubing is good decision-making skills. You could end up in that water in a second. And we want people in the water, when you fall out of your tube, we want you to be able to assume the defensive swimming position, which is your feet are up, you're on your back, and you're going to be trying to steer yourself, and someone's going to be trying to help you get to shore. So if you're impaired, and again, no judgment, you do what you're going to do, but if you're impaired, you may not be able to steer yourself properly. Yeah. You may not be able to quickly react to that falling in the water, and you may not be able to follow directions to your safety.
Sure. Let's talk about if we're not tubing, right? We have the kids behind us playing on the side of the river. They're obviously not necessarily wanting to get in and ride down.
Right.
But you never know, right?
Right.
I mean, Colorado, we're so prone to things like flash flooding and the rains that just come out of nowhere.
Yes.
How do we make sure that we're staying safe even when we're not in the river?
Right, well, that's a great question. And what I love here, these families, if you look at where they've kind of set up, we like to suggest to families that you choose an eddy. So in other words, kind of a calmer spot where maybe the kids, and make sure your dog's on a leash because you don't want your dog to pop into the water and get swept away, because that happens, and children too.
Right.
So maybe choosing a calmer area and maybe set up some boundaries with your kids. That rock, that stick, you know, you need to stay close by, and really consider having them in PFDs. And I know it looks awkward, but helmets and foot protection doesn't hurt. If they get swept away, they're going to be safer that way.
Honestly, there's no looking awkward when it comes to safety. I have to say, between helmets when I'm skiing, helmets when I'm riding a bike, this is honestly no joke, guys. So safety is huge. Well, Marianne, thank you so much for walking us through it.
Bet.
I appreciate you, and let's make sure we're staying safe out there.
Yes.
Now, for more river safety rules, tips, and tricks, you can head to cpw.state.co.us.